Welcome back one and all, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Torment, Tides of Numenera. That's right, 3 videos tonight. We're going to talk to Falana Marquareth. That's quite the name. You see a slender woman covered in worn brown robes, leaning over the fire, the cowl pulled low over her head. Her skin is a dark bronze color. Here to interrogate me, she pulls back her cowl enough for you to see that her long hair is more silver than brown, and the years of life on the road are apparent on her face. She looks weary and exhausted except for her eyes, which burn like golden fire. I am Falana Marquareth. What do you Her eyes alight on your tattoo and she hisses, "Skist, you bastards are all over the place here, eh? Look, I can't tell you anything, alright? We're done with fighting." What are you talking about? She looks confused for a moment. You're a cast-off, so either you're here to drag us back or kill us. She turns to her side and pauses, as if listening to words you cannot hear. Then she responds, "No, I suppose you're right. Still, he's a cast-off." "Who are you talking to?" "My men. Zad reminded me that not all cast-offs are the endless battle. But Timpo wants me to be careful with you." She holds up a finger. "People have said they're not there because they can't see them. But they can see you, so let's not have that conversation." She settles back. "So are you here to kill us? Telling us? I have no part in the endless battle, but answer for some questions for me." She breathes out a low whistle. "Alright, good, sure. We'll answer anything we can." "I only see Denevan and Luca here. Where are Timpo and Zad?" She closes her eyes and pinches the bridge of her nose. "If you can't see them, no fault of mine. Frankly, they're lucky they don't have to talk to you." "Looks like you've been resting here for a while. Is it safe?" She chews over the question for a while, then shrugs. "It's safe for us," she says sourly. "For you?" She eyes her companions and they give a slight nod. "We can make it safe for you. It'll cost 100 shins, though." Yeah, that's a rip-off, but whatever, we need to rest, so... I wonder if one of them's a storekeeper. Denevan, are you a shopkeeper? The man looks up at you momentarily before looking away into the distance at nothing in particular. He takes a drag on his smoke. His presence strikes you as odd, as if something about him were trying to inspire dread in you. "What's your name?" "Denevan Rust." He flickers a gaze at you and then stares off into the distance again. "What are you doing here?" "Trying to get home." He stabs the smoke at Falana. "You got questions? Talk to Falana. You've already met her, yeah?" "Yeah." He inhales another mouthful of smoke. "Falana said that you're deserters from the endless battle." He stops breathing. The smoke falls from his nerveless fingers and his face goes slack with terror. He starts shaking and a single sob breaks from his throat before he snaps back to reality. The flat expression settles back onto his face and he picks up his dropped smoke. He takes a deliberate drag and only then does his tension ease. "Nope." "Can't you tell me anything about the endless battle?" "No, see it for yourself." "What can you tell me about the valley?" "Nothing, just dust and memories. You are very useless." "Alright, Luca, tell me something interesting." The man is busy reading a strange device, an elegant square of some kind. Metal. Odd letters and images flash on a reflective screen embedded in the square. He's on an iPad, or another tablet, like a Microsoft Surface. When you draw near, you notice that the device is plugged into his arm with a long silver wire. Ah, the Surface 7. Gotcha. And one of the man's eyes is mechanical. "Greetings." His voice is kind, though it buzzes like the rattling sheet of synth steel. "I am Lucameri Gali." He gestures with the book. "Sometimes I read in the older tongue. I uncover great knowledge this way. For instance..." His metal eye shudders and clicks. A tinny voice emerges from the pad. "The formal education of the young begins with with nervous system uptake inhibitors and microwave transmissions to the developing fetal brain." It clicks off. "You see, I do not know the species which this refers, but I begin to know of them. At any rate, what can I do for you?" "What's your name again?" "Did I not introduce myself?" He closes his eyes. "I did. I said, 'Greetings, I am Lucameri Gali. Perhaps your memory storage unit has been corrupted.'" He seems concerned. "Tell me about yourself." He nods. "I have spoken my name already. The knowledge of my character is thus more important. I was a soldier. I travel with my friends. I and my friends travel to our home, or at least that is our plan." He leans close. "I admit to concern for my friends. They seem trapped in the past, paralyzed. They are not as they were when we set out." He gestures to the mechanical extrusions on his own body. "Nor, to be fair, am I." "What do you mean when you say your friends are different?" "They were full of hope once. We and a dozen others set out from our home, an aldea west of Sage's Cliffs, to find fortune in the endless battle. We joined a recruiter in Sage's Cliffs and we enlisted with the army of the changing god. We thought we were prepared. We were not. We were in trenches. We fought with bolt throwers and energy weapons and detonations. That first day, I saw half of our friends obliterated by a rogue particle wave that emanated from our side of the battlefield. And then, we woke again in a new reality, our memories of the old world intact, but our bodies whole, except for Timpo, who was half dissolved in this new reality. So it went, incremental gains as a whole, with certain consequences carrying into new lives. Sometimes they would undo all of our day's heroism for an unseen advantage. Other times we'd lose a friend forever. One day, I was caught half out of a trench, the air exploded above us, and I burned. The new reality did not restore me. I spent some weeks under the care of surgeons. When I awoke, I was as you saw me, and our other friend had been killed. Falana and Denevan reacted very differently to me. They say I too have changed. I don't know. I know that I no longer fear, and I do not remember much of emotion. I recall the fear and horror, but I do not recall its taste. And when I spoke to them, they agreed that it was time for us to leave. To leave before we became these forgotten names, lost in the flux of worlds. Falana says you're deserters. He frowns. Yes, we have left our posts, but I do not believe we have deserted. I believe we have become aware. If the battle is endless, then our struggles mean nothing. If our struggle means nothing, why should we continue to struggle? You struggle for something greater, because the struggle reveals who you truly are. Actually, you could just as well be talking about life. If life has no meaning, why continue to struggle? Perhaps the struggle is not for life itself, but to find life's meaning. Or perhaps it is a biological imperative. Chemistry and instinct are powerful motivation. His metal shoulder shrugs. It doesn't matter, though. We will not be going back. Okay, bye. Falana, do you have anything else to add about the situation? I've talked to Luca, and I tried to talk to Denevan about the endless battle. Good enough. They were normal people once, ordinary thrill-seeking kids. Now look at them. Most wars, she starts, a group of people march in with their artifacts, gravity, light pulse, time benders, and march back out. Endless battles like that, but going on for centuries. Think of what it does to the landscape. Think of what it does to the psychic terrain. Think of what it does to your friends. She waves at her nearby companions, her gesture continuing to colleagues unseen. And when you're vermin to the people who run the war, when you've got no hope to survive, and you feel the realities collapsing around you, when you see wormholes open up and monsters walk through, when the air is toxic and the ground melts, and you feel your mind assaulted, but it's not personal. It's not someone who wants your destruction in particular. You're just an inconvenience to them. Your death is another number, a way to measure their success. It's hell. A business like hell. And you did it. Cast-offs. You could stop if you wanted, but you don't. Or maybe you don't care. I mean, you've made up statistics of your enemies, faceless foes whose existence you can erase without qualm. You're just not hurting them. You're hurting yourself. The way you see the world, soon everything is a conflict of pain. All conflict and pain. All that matters is your success, and you've killed yourself, and you don't even know it. She wipes a tear away. It ruins everything. Everyone it touches. Tell me about yourself. Me, Denevan, Luca, Timpo, Zad, and all the rest. They're my crew. My men. We were just trying to find a way home from the endless battle. We came through Colne, but... She waves a hand at the pile of rubble. It's not exactly a forgiving route. Just trying to figure out where we go next. Her sleeve slips with her gesture, and you can see that her skin does not simply look metallic, it is metal. She catches you looking and tugs her sleeve back down, annoyed. A price of the endless battle, one of the reasons I left. I used to think I'd earn glory there. Thought my nano-skills would propel me high. She scoffs. Only room in that exalted air is for cast-offs. The rest of us bleed while you lot laugh. That's why we got out. Hold, you came through Colne? What was it like there? She mutters to you. Haven't been back there for centuries, not since Tash. I couldn't bear the thought of it. It's just ruins mostly, cursed ground. People tell stories of some kind of genocide hundreds of years ago. But who knows if that's true. We didn't want to go through it, but we did. She nods brusquely and then looks off into the distance, saying nothing. Actually, wait, there's one more thing I wanted to ask her. What is she doing there? Camping, trying to figure out our next steps. Came through Colne with reluctance and decided it wasn't the best place to plan. Thought we'd get a clearer perspective down here. Instead, there's some sort of cult war going on. We've got to leave sooner rather than later. Okay, bye.
You bet.
There's nothing here, it looks like, but let's just take a quick peek. A recent landslide has closed off what was once a pass out of this valley, and these packs are lived out of, but appear ready to leave at a moment's notice. They smell faintly of herbs and ozone. Crisp, pungent water issues from an inhuman head. There's nothing further up the slope to indicate where the water is coming from. Ew, slime water. Alright, we're going back down. That is some gross looking water though. It looks very bad for you. Alright, so we're gonna go climb, hopefully, up this staircase.
Yes.
There are several things up here to interact with, and not the least of which is a person named Phoenix. But I want to poke this thing first. Anytime you want to get up here. Thank you, Rin. A tall wire and metal frame stands atop of a synth base. The base contains dozens of carvings in a foreign script. The frame has been cunningly devised from strange materials, and within it colored lights curl and intersect like smoke, dancing in a wavering helix. The lights occasionally combine to create human figures, which dissolve in a second or two without ever resolving into distinct features. We're lore machinerying, which we're really good at. Upon closer inspection, you believe this monument, or at least parts of it, to be a recent addition to the valley. Nearly everything around here is weathered, buried, or in decay, and while the synth base meets those criteria, the carvings within it look relatively fresh. There are even a few synth shavings still resting in the base of the monument. Likewise, the wire and metal frame has been built from several different pieces and materials, all grafted onto the synth base. So, the script is a Ninth World language then, but not the truth. Perhaps it was carved by members of a small village or aldea in the area, far from the larger cities. The wire and metal frame was built by someone skilled with the Numenera. He or she used disparate devices to create a beautiful vortex of light. This is a memorial for somebody, or perhaps several someones, built with great care. The artisan's loss weighs heavily, and you look upon this place. Perhaps that is its purpose. You reflect for a moment on the sorrow of the artisan of this memorial must have felt, carving each word by hand, shaping their faces in light. Then it's time to move on. We also have a level. Let's level up Metkina. She can get edge, stat, ability, or skill. Let's take a look at skill or abilities. Maybe not that one. Ability, I can get infused weapon or better warp dash. That might be okay. You know what? Let's grab warp dash. Sounds like a pretty cool ability. And we're gonna poke the disgusting water. Bubbles rise from the pool before you, and its barren edges are crusted with white rime. The acrid reek of the water makes your eyes tear up. Let's examine it. Despite the bubbles and deep color, the water is crystal clear, and you can see down into the depths of the pool. There is a brassy metallic globe down there caked with rime, but otherwise whole. Unfortunately, it's too far down to reach in without diving. Well, let's just go do that. Hey, you. You're good at swimming. Go swim. You dive into the water and your eyes instantly start burning. Your body is aflame, but you kick down determined and scramble for the globe. As soon as it's safe in your hands, you kick to the surface. You are screaming in pain as you climb from the pool. After agonizing minutes, you're able to pull yourself together enough to examine the globe. When you do, you discover it holds a treasure. We gained a pellucid wrap, a savant slipknot, 18 shins. I'm going to drink from the pool. I'm going to quick save first, obviously, because that's what you should do. The water is slippery and tastes like soap. It constricts your throat so much it's hard to swallow. It burns all the way down. We can actually kill ourselves here. Okay, so that's a way to get... What's quick load? I guess it's F9. My dog is still going ballistic outside. I have no idea why. Alright, so we got the stuff inside the pool. What does it do? The pellucid wrap is a bonded artifact. +2 intellect pool, +1 damage on effort applied, and max +6 on esoteric attacks. We need an esoteric attack badly. We don't have one yet. And the savant slipknot is a cipher. Increases the stat pool with the highest max value by 1. Why wouldn't we do that? Alright. Now we have 14 intellect total. It's a gravity bomb, clears fog of war, phased humanoid. Okay. What other artifact are we using? Perception. And immune to daze and blind. Versus +2. Can I use the other one? Okay, let's swap these out. I'm gonna put that one there. I don't really care about the -1 training and stealth, whereas I do care about the -1 intellect edge. Alright. So we have the cat to do first, before we do anything else. Rising before you is a tall and tapered obelisk, crowned with the carved stone head of some elegant, sharp-eared animal with 6 eyes, or wrapping around the obelisk are bands of engraved hieroglyphs. Let's examine the head. The carved head mounted on the top of the obelisk stares out into the distance, its eyes empty and mournful, with hieroglyphs. Except for 4 stylized depictions of the same sharp-eared animal that tops the obelisk, the pictographs make no sense to you. How about the base? The base of the obelisk is smooth, untouched by any weathering, or other troubles that seem to have eroded much of the other ruins in this place. It sits in a pool of acrid liquid. The liquid smells foul and caustic, but the obelisk appears undamaged. It's unclear how much more of the obelisk lies beneath the pool. The statue's head seems to move until its eyes stare directly into yours. They are still mournful, but no longer empty. A faint, beckoning glimmer shines within. You turn to your companions, but they don't seem to notice that anything strange has happened. I'm going to look into the eyes. A wave of dizziness overcomes you as you gaze into the statue's eyes. You are no longer facing the obelisk. Indeed, you are no longer human. The tail of the dead lack in your mouth drags along the ground as you creep through the dense foliage to the temple. You peek out through the gandu fronds and see the old monk Nimu shucking how pods on the weathered steps. You pad out to greet him, and he grins toothlessly at the sight of you. There she is, he says, chuckling. There's my brave hunter, and with a gift. How thoughtful. You drop the lack at his feet and arch your back as he strokes your fur and adjusts your collar. But your work isn't done, sweet girl. There's lacks aplenty in the grain room. Bring me a dozen more before I finish these house, and I'll give you your favorite nibble. A dozen lacks is nothing to a hunter of your skill. You pad off to the granary, ready for battle. The obelisk reappears, and you realize your joy was remembered only. Anything else? Another wave of dizziness. You watch from the undergrowth, terrified, as the followers of the bird god pull down the stone statues of the great ones and chase the monks out from the burning temple. Heathen, cries their leader, worshippers of false gods, kill them all. The birdman sees you. He shrieks, a saturil, we must kill it. The monks hide their souls in little beasts. If we don't wipe them all out, the monks will return strong as ever. You turn and bound into the jungle as a mob of angry men crash in after you, and the obelisk fills your vision again. Saturil, that's what this creature is called. You watch from a low branch as grave robbers tear up stones of the ruined temple's nave, looking for old catacombs. The leader sits on the stone head of a fallen statue, patting it and stroking its pointed ears. He laughs. This is what the old monks worshipped before the Jarudi wiped them out. The prince of the Saturil, They say his big ears hear all the secrets ever whispered within earshot of any of these six-eyed pests. You hiss at the insult. He looks up. Hoy, there's one now. Hasn't been a monk alive around here to tame a Saturil in 100 years. He chirps at you. Come here, little one. Let me see the jeweled collar of yours, won't you? Looks like lovely workmanship. You give him a disdainful look and climb further up the tree as the obelisk returns. Anything else? You watch from under a gandu bush as a father and mother drop double armloads of springwood in the middle of the temple ruins, then sit and mop their brows as their 3 children begin stripping the stalks of their bark. Plenty to build with out here at least, says the father. And we'll need all we can get, says the mother. Without a perimeter fence to keep out the balls, and the skullhounds will be dead within a week. What about the lax? One of the children cries. The father laughs. Pray to Gunny, daughter. Maybe he'll send one of his servants for us. He's the prince of the Saturil, you know. Your ears prick up. The last you are wanted. It's time to hunt.
I'm ready to become even more
The eyes of the
heroic.
statue fade, though they do not go out entirely, as though it has divested itself of responsibility. Why it did so remains a mystery. Alright, we gained a level. Actually, we gained 2 levels, technically. Let's take a peek. We can do effort. That's all we can do. That's our last one. Now we can get an ability. Gain plus 15% on attacks is awesome. Lucky Combatant actually looks to be our best one. So Dismay is an attack. Enemies in range who fail to resist gain demoralized. And it consumes our action. It's not an esotery though, and I don't like that. We're going to try and find one. I'm going to use Lucky Combatant because it's kind of useful. Oh, here we go. We might get an esotery here. Yes, here's some. Analytic attack, that's not what we're looking for. That's an esoteric attack. Warp dash. Nope. That's not so bad. Okay, Myalgic Dust fires a cloud of nanoparticles in front of you, dealing 3 physical damage and conferring dazed on any enemy who fails to resist. I can also up it per damage effort, plus 5 total. The alternative is I grab Warp Dash, which is an esoteric and attack. I teleport to a point and then I attack at that point. But I think I'm going to take Myalgic Dust. And we're going to take Lore Machinery. Become slightly trained in that. Yeah, okay. That looks pretty good, I think. And you, our beefcake, gets another effort as well. Skirmish Spectacle. Whenever Eritus lands a critical hit, daze all enemies in the immediate range of him. That's actually amazing. We can Hook, which pulls things to us. Successive Attack. When I kill an enemy, immediately make a bonus attack against the nearest enemy in range without moving. Nice. Ignore Flanked Fettle when surrounded by enemies. Note we're going to grab Successive Attack, because that sounds pretty cool. We're also going to upgrade our Heavy Weapon feat, and then we'll do Melee Weapon next time. He is now Tier 3.
How do you maintain your good cheer all the time?
Why, I just think of a happy thing. A daring thing. A adventure thing. And then adventure happens.
Now I'm thinking of violent things. Oh my, it really works.
Alright. This man looks nice enough and seems unassuming at best, but this is the strangest feeling. It's almost as if he doesn't exist. As you try and focus on him, a sense of dread builds in you. You're not afraid exactly, but you know you aren't safe. You want my name. It's been a long time since I spoke it. Let's see. How about you call me Fens? No, that's terrible. Hang on. He starts muttering. Finks, Foins, Phoenix. Yes, that's it. Phoenix. Call me Phoenix. He steps forward and puts a hand on your shoulder. You have come here. Perhaps you obey the call of the tombs and give me what I need. I tell you, I need answers. Someone gave me a note and it said to come here, and I would find my answers. I would find the truth, but I can't understand this note. His eyes burn, literally, though his face seems untouched. What use is power if I cannot understand? What is the purpose of my power if I cannot see? Ask me, I do not know. Can I see the note? I might be able to shed some light on it. He slows. Ask me of wisdom, and I may grant it to you.
Making a note.
If you can show me that you know, then I will share my knowledge with you. So let us talk. You will ask me your questions, and with them, you will share your insights. Why don't you remember your name? Names are a construct of consciousness, but there is some fundamental importance to them, or to consciousness itself. Yes, although the importance is what we make it. So self-assigned importance. What makes consciousness so special that it can determine its worth? I have seen a world of crystal life that built greater things than the ninth world. Without consciousness, why should a mind grant itself a special prize for its appreciation of itself? He waves a hand in dismissal. Can I see the note? You joke, yes? You have not proven to me that you have the inquisitive mind that can unlock its secrets. Are you from this world? He pauses, frowning. It is familiar to me, the lines, the curves, the structures, but it is like a poor sketch of the world I remember. I see its textures, the strokes, and I see the medium on which it is drawn. But I can lift the sketch and see the truth beneath it, and I do not know my origins. What are you doing here? I seek. I was given a note, a strange note, a note that told me to come here, and that I would find the answers I seek. Something about impulses, an almost subsonic beat, and you stagger slightly. Anger creases his brow. I hold it, and I study it, I read it, yet I do not understand. He points a finger that cycles through the colors of the rainbow. So how do I learn it? Ask someone else to help you with it. He frowns. I have asked. Have you had any trouble from the cultists here? Trouble? Not for me. They have come for me many times. They do not leave. The fact that he stands in the middle of the valley alone and safe supports his story. Tell me about yourself. I have decided my name is Phoenix. He says the name as though testing a new wine. He holds up his hand, and for a moment you see light fading through it. Am I a seeker? Is that how one would say? Yes, I'm a seeker. It is wisdom. Wisdom I seek. He closes his eyes and starts laughing. All the things I have found. His eyes snap open. The structure of the world is not as you imagined. What you see and feel is nothing more than the varied interactions of fundamental forces that apply rules to the subsequent larger pieces. Those pieces become what we call matter, what we call meat, what we call reality. He reaches out to touch your shoulder, and his hand passes through you, and you feel nothing. He reaches out again. This time, his touch is cold. It is fire, it is acid, and stars shine, but you are undamaged. Enlightenment comes from within, he whispers, and he begins to cackle. Or does it come from without? Can't it come from both within and without? It can, his eyes gleam, find the answers within. Let another show you the path. Both lead to surprising destinations if you let them. Can I see the note now?
Making a note.
You have the mind of a seeker, not merely an explorer. Yes, you may take the note. He passes you an engraved synth. Return if you're able to find my answer. Let's take a look. Can't hurt to take a peek. The ragged synth square is engraved with scrawls and symbols, presumably some kind of writing, but it is mostly unfamiliar to you. Phoenix says the note told him to come to the Valley of Dead Heroes and that he would find the answers he needs. He gave it to you because he has found no answers. Because he has found no answers, but he has not so far? That doesn't make sense. Okay, he hopes you will find them in his place. Although the engraved symbols are mostly incomprehensible, 4 numbers are written in the truth, 1 on each line of text, 1, 3, and 5. Alright, well, let's go jump through the portal here.
Why, of course.
Boop. Let's walk into the light. I think we're going to come out right there. Yep, that's pretty much what I figured.
Yes.
But we're almost out of time. An amplified encephalic rush. Cool.
Yes. Now.
A pokey interacting thing. This small alcove is about the size of a small hovel. Its sole virtue is that it is a shelter from the wind and from the sightlines of casual passers-by. The runes carved above its entrance fill your mind with a wordless message of catastrophic danger. The dust inside of the alcove is undisturbed apart from a set of footprints that circles the interior. Their owner appears to have curled up in a corner under a ledge containing a small ebony box. The dust on that ledge has also been disturbed. Someone removed something long and thin like a blade from this place. In its place is a crudely carved herder's crook. Someone slept here, didn't they? They wanted to hide, but they didn't know how to hide. She puts her hand in her pocket nervously. I hope they found someplace better to go. This doesn't feel like a place to stay. It feels like hunger. She hugs herself. Let's go. I don't like this place. Eridus cradles his forehead in his hands. He mouths the word no, then swallows, shaking his head. He seems smaller than you recall. I don't like this place. His voice is a whisper. His hands fall to his eyes and he touches them as if they are in pain. Are we leaving? I want to leave. What's wrong, Eridus? Nothing. He swallows hard. I don't want to stay. Not here. Please, I'm begging you. Let's go. Of course. Let's go. He presses the heels of his trembling hands against his eyes. I'm going to pick up the crook. You stretch out your hand to take the crook. Beside you, Eridus moans. A wave of pale fire explodes from the crook, and everything goes white. You hear screaming, perhaps Eridus's, perhaps your own. Thunderous voices bellow beyond the hissing wail of that endless ivory wall, and something is rushing at you, something you can't see. A fistful of senses, emotions, memories, and fears strikes your mind, driving you back a step along the dusty floor of the alcove. Something has changed inside of you, inside the labyrinth. You hear a voice in your mind, a voice very much like Eridus's, but small and afraid. You look over at him. Eridus is staring at the shelf, hands slack at his side. The glow is nowhere to be seen, and he looks weathered, old, weary. You follow his gaze. The herder's crook is gone. What just happened? I went somewhere, he mumbles without looking at you. I stayed here in my amazing heroic body, but I went somewhere else. Without looking at you, his hand lifts from his side and points at your forehead. He does not seem to be aware that his hand is doing this. Then his glow returns like the sun rising behind a hill, and it swallows him. He smiles, dropping his rebellious hand. Why are we just standing here, he says, looking around. We should be fighting, feasting, jumping from roof to roof. Let's go find some roofs. Is this a roof? Let's check the box. There is no sign of what this empty box once held, but you do notice a carving of an eye at the bottom of the box, with a pupil made of 2 crimson concentric rings. If you squint, you can just make out a human figure at the center of the eye, holding a sword in the air. Eridus groans and you look over. An untroubled smile graces his face, but you notice that one of his eyes is watering. Are you alright? Yes, very, he says, nodding at you. A tear streaks down his narrow cheek and around his cheerful grin. But bored here now that you ask. We should leave now. He whistles quietly to himself and looks away. Something really weird is going on there. What's our down thing? What do we have? Oh, right, the ebon eyes. Is this one then? Bow negative. -2 intellect. Right, I remember that now. Okay, so that's going to be the end of our video. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.